welcome everybody. Wanted to talk about spiritual gifts today. Even just now had a conversation with Christopher. I was coming at him because he was trying to encourage me, and I'm coming at him saying that's not my gift, and he's just trying to love me and encourage me to put myself off and spend time with the kids more. And I watched him do that the other night, and I got bored and walked off, and because I had things to do, and I'm busy, and I'm this and I'm that, and you're an old man, you've got time to do this and so I'm coming at him, and I'm not understanding the surrendering my life, and I'm wanting Yahusha to work in my routine instead of me giving over to him.
So if you put the time aside, it can only be 10, 15 minutes.
That was a good point, yeah. If you're getting an amazing flow, he said, Mark, and you disconnect and go and spend time with wife, children, whatever's happening in front of you, and be present. When you come back to do your work with Yahusha, he'll give it to you faster and pick up where you left off. Double.
And more.
You don't have to be, I wouldn't say I'm angry, but irritated. When someone interrupts me, I'll be in the middle of a thought about to type something, or a client will come in, or Teresa, and I don't express anger anymore, but inside myself I just want to scream. I nearly had that.
That's anger.
That's anger.
It's like an interference.
It's an interference. Yeah.
But you're getting goaded.
Yeah.
He wants you to do that. When you put that off and you're trusting him, he's with you. So you're getting more for what you want to do in the experience he's giving you with them. And
That's
it's
true.
more coming at you. You always got to be open to that. You know?
Yeah, I haven't been wanted it my way. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to hear the results of it when you put it to practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it'll be obvious.
Yeah.
I'll be here in the moment.
Well, what sort of a shock are the kids going to get?
Yeah.
They'll feel the love.
Yeah, definitely. So we've talked about, when I was going through the 12 steps, I noticed when I got to about 11 or 12, we didn't have a lot of videos or material to share on it on the webpage, because we've only just come into those sort of discussions about the maturity and the gifts. So I thought there are a couple of verses I mentioned in the last video about don't put out your spiritual gifts, keep kindling your spiritual gifts and all those sort of things. But what are they exactly? Religion says they're one thing, but I wanted to talk about, I just wanted to read with the four of you 1 Corinthians 12, 13 and 14, and just
3 chapters.
Yeah, they're pretty
3 chapters.
3 chapters.
Hickaroo.
Oh my
You want to go
goodness.
through that? All right, we'll do it because Yahusha wants us to.
Be in the moment.
I love you, Hickaroo.
Well, let's just get into it and see what pops out. And concerning ruach-like gifts, and concerning spiritual gifts, brothers, I do not wish you to be ignorant. You know that you were nations, led away to the dumb idols, even as you might be led. Therefore I make known to you that no one speaking by the Spirit of Yahuwah says that Yahusha is a curse. No one speaking by the Spirit of Yahuwah says that Yahusha is a curse. And no one is able to say that Yahusha is master except by the Ruach HaKodesh. So Yahusha has to reveal that within someone.
That's set apart for those people that don't want to say Ruach HaKodesh.
Ruach.
You can say it in English, set apart spirit.
Set apart spirit of Yahusha. And there are different kinds of gifts of the same Spirit. There are different kinds of services, but the same Master. I should add here that most of us have come out of religion, so the reason I want to dive into these two is a lot of people, when they think of spiritual gifts, they think of assemblies, they think of people standing up on stage, they think of people waving their hands around, prophets, teachers, preachers, speaking in tongues, all this sort of stuff. And if you don't have that kind of personality, you think, oh, what good am I then? I've got no gift. I think when we go through the scriptures, it will become obvious, not only that the gifts are not what we thought they are, but there's a gift for every single person, and I don't think you just get one. And so let's go through. There are different kinds of services, same master. Verse 6. And there are different kinds of workings, but it is the same Yahuwah who is working all in all. And to each one is given the manifestation of the Spirit for profiting. For to one is given a word of wisdom. Here we go. Someone's given a word of wisdom through the Spirit. I think when we read this, it's day to day. It's 24/7. It's not just something that you get when you're singing some silly song, waving your hands around. Oh, someone's got a word of prophecy. No, this is just someone who's got a word of wisdom from Yahushua. Someone is given a word of wisdom through the Spirit, and to another a word of knowledge according to the same Spirit, and to another belief by the same Spirit, and to another gifts of healing by the same Spirit, and to another operations of powers, and to another prophecy, and to another discerning of spirits, and to another kinds of tongues, and to another interpretation of tongues. But one and the same Spirit works all these, distributing to each one individually as He intends. For as the body is one and has many components, but all the components of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is the Mashiach. For indeed, by one Spirit we were all immersed into one body, whether Jews or Greeks, slaves or free, and we were all made to drink into one Spirit. For indeed, the body is not one component, but many. If the foot says, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, does it therefore not belong to the body? And if the ear says, because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body, does it therefore not belong to the body? If all the body was an eye, where would be the hearing? Makes sense? If all hearing, where would be the smelling? But now Yahuwah has set the components, each one of them, in the body, even as He pleased. And if they all had been one component, where would the body be? And now there are indeed many components, but one body. And an eye is unable to say to the hand, I have no need of you. Or again, the head to the feet, I have no need of you. But rather, much rather, those components of the body which are thought to be weaker are necessary. Those components of the body which are thought to be weaker are necessary. And to those of the body which we think to be less respected, these we present greater respect. And our unseemly parts have greater seemliness, whereas our seemly parts have no need. But Yahuwah blended together the body, having given greater respect to that part which lacks it, so that there should be no division in the body, but that the parts should have the same concern one for another. So I notice he speaks briefly about an example of what some of the gifts are, and he's spending a lot of time speaking about how valued we all should be to each other and the behaviour we should have to each other. It's interesting. Like, everyone just wants to focus on, well, where's my gift? What's my gift? Whereas, well, how are you supposed to be treating one another?
Behaviour.
There should be no division in the body.
What about verse 25?
25. And if one component suffers, all the parts suffer with it. Oh, sorry.
That there should be no
The numbers are blurry in my eyes. That there should be no division in the body.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. That the parts.
So if we all have the same mind, that we're in agreement. There should be no division. That's instruction. How much division is the 𝗓𝗓𝗓 in? It's disgusting.
I agree. And if one component suffers, all the parts suffer with it. Or if one component is esteemed, all the components rejoice with it. And you are a body of Mashiach, of Messiah, and components individually. And Yahuwah has appointed these in the assembly. First, emissaries. Secondly, prophets. Now I look at this and I go, this is cultural, because this is the beginning of the assembly and how it was operated in the assembly. To start with, most of us don't even have assemblies today. So where's our emissary? Where's our prophets and teachers? Yahuwah has appointed these in the assembly, first emissaries, secondly prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healings, helps, ministrations, kinds of tongues. Do you think that? Do you think we should be looking for our emissaries, teachers, prophets?
No, we
in
don't have
today's-
assemblies.
We don't. I think this was the whole basis of Corinthians, was Paul coming along, just seeing this mishmash of chaos going on, saying, you know, after the outbreak of the Spirit and everything was happening, and he's like, no, you've got to get this into order. I think it's very cultural to me when I look at it. I'm not saying these gifts can't get raised up, I'm just saying,
Well, today you look at the scripture that says you need for no man to teach you, but the Spirit.
yeah,
He'll teach you all you need to know.
yeah, exactly.
So why would you want a secondary teaching?
Exactly. So that's the order in which those gifts come up. 20, I think I might need glasses. 29. Are all emissaries? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Are all workers of miracles? Do all have gifts of healing? Do all speak with tongues? Do all interpret? But earnestly seek the better gifts, and yet I show you a more excellent way.
So it's telling you that those gifts for the first church, they're not the best gifts.
No.
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 They were for a time by the sounds of it.
I think so. I think Mark's onto the right thing there, don't you?
Yeah.
And if you take out the chapter divisions here and forget that there's a chapter number there, and you just read that sentence, do all have gifts of healing, do all speak with tongues, do all interpret, but earnestly seek the better gifts, which means these gifts aren't where it's at. Seek something better. And here we go. Check this out. I show you a more excellent way. Skip to the next verse. If I speak with the tongues of men and of messengers, but do not have love, I've become a sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. If I have prophecy and know all secrets and all knowledge, of which none of us do, but even if we did, and if I have all belief so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing at all. And if I give out all my possessions to feed the poor, if I give my body to be burnt, but do not have love, I am not profited at all. Because love is patient, kind. Love does not envy.
Instruction.
Love does not boast. I mean, this is the first of the fruits. This is not a gift. It is a gift, but it's a fruit. This is the first fruit that we're all supposed to be growing in. In one mind, as it said there. There should be no division.
Yeah.
Love is patient, kind, does not envy, does not boast, is not puffed up, does not behave indecently, does not seek its own, is not provoked, reckons not the evil, does not rejoice over the unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. Another word for unrighteousness would be disobedience. So it does not rejoice in disobeying Yahushua, but rejoices in the truth. It covers all, believes all, expects all, endures all. Love never fails. And whether there be prophecies, they shall be inactive. Well, it says it there, doesn't it?
Yep.
Where there shall be prophecies, they shall be inactive. So they've got a short shelf life.
Well, why would they become inactive? Because you're growing up. You don't need that sort of encouragement. See? You're coming into maturity. You don't need that. They're all playing around in those behaviours. All this love is a behaviour. Once it's condensed and you know the meaning of it, then you can do it. It's got to be come down to being a practical thing. It's got to be active. You can't sit there and say, I love you. No, it's in your behaviour, how you behave towards them. We all have to come into that.
Yeah. I just find it interesting in our last video about the machine, going through history.
Machine.
The machine, I love the machine. The machine of getting, Yahushua's way of getting the message out into the world freshly after he just died was through all these languages. It wasn't just jibber jabber, spiritual tongue, it was a language. And all the people gathered at the feast, all the dialects, foreign dialects to get the message out. They took it with them to their countries. Why would that be necessary today when you've got Google Translate and you've got the internet? Like, I can't see, and we're reading it. Prophecies will be inactive, tongues they shall cease.
Well, everything you're saying is it, spot on.
Yeah.
You just shut that down and go for it.
Yeah. Knowledge will even be inactive.
Yeah.
And what's the hierarchical?
Don't tell the
Don't
Jews.
Don't even tell them that.
Don't tell the carpetbaggers.
Bypassing your knowledge, mate.
Yeah.
For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. I mean, to use the word prophecy, I don't even like that word, but it would be similar to what you were saying the other day. If Yahusha tells you something, something amazing is going to happen today, especially if he says it specifically what it's going to be, and you claim it and say, okay, I'll be looking for it. And you told Victoria, this is something's going to happen today. And, yeah, you're right, sure, yeah. And we all poo-poo it, and it did. 3 things happened that day. And then you were able to say, they happened. And it wasn't just you making it happen, because you told us beforehand, hours before. You should told me when I woke up this morning, this is going to happen and that's going to happen.
Well, people around you can act dead
Yeah.
towards what you've said and not respond in their stupidity. But you know inside you it has happened and they're a witness to what you've said. And so you're bringing people in because you can continue with more, because Yahusha gives aboundlessly, doesn't he?
Yeah.
See? And they have to eat their
Words. Big time.
their hat.
Eat their hat. Yeah. So we know in part, we prophesy in part, but when that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part shall be inactive. So what are we talking about? That which is perfect is obviously the love.
Yeah.
So when the love has come, that which is in part, which is all these gifts, shall be inactive. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. Well, this is what you just said, mate. You grow up, become mature. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, thought as a child, reasoned as a child. But when I became a man, I did away with childish things. So he's kind of saying that these gifts are a bit childish, doesn't he?
Well, when you look at it, it all comes down to, like what I said to you, give that time where he wants you to. It's all about
Wow.
and love is very powerful and works. And then he blesses you back more after you've given him the time to use you how he wants to. He wants to use you as a father to them and a mother. So we give over our time and we get that message across. And it doesn't take long and they're satisfied, then you go back to what you're doing. And you're inspired in it more. I don't want to miss out on that.
No.
You can if you want to, but I'm not going to. Are we 𝗪𝗪𝗪? We're not missing out.
For now we see in a mirror, dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know, as I have also been known. That's interesting.
Now I know in part, but then I shall know as I also have been
known. Yeah.
Moving on.
And now belief, expectation, and love remain. So out of all those gifts, we've got belief, expectation, and love. These 3.
It's all about love, 𝗪𝗪𝗪. You knew right away.
That's it, love. You knew love. But the greatest of these is love. So pursue love and earnestly seek the spiritual gifts, but rather that you prophesy. So this is interesting. He's going on a different tangent now. Pursue love and earnestly seek spiritual gifts, but rather that you prophesy. For he who is speaking in a tongue does not speak to men, but to Yahuwah. For no one understands. But in the Spirit he speaks secrets. This is what I wanted to talk about, because I read that and I thought, it jumped me straight back to my Pentecostal days where we used to say, Dave Pentecostal was speaking in languages, but this is a secret prayer language. I'm speaking a secret prayer language here. And I thought, how am I going to explain this when it's saying, no one understands you, So it's not for the other nations, it's not another language. But in the Spirit, he speaks secrets. And I thought, well, there's oftentimes you feel overwhelmed in the Spirit and you're communicating with Yahushua, it's not necessarily in words. And I'm not saying it's jibber jabber, I'm just saying it's a feeling, it's an emotion, it's an affection, an intimacy, an intensity. But I think he's saying if you give that time to others and put it into words like a prophecy, it's not just something selfish to yourself. If you're just sitting there talking to yourself, oh no, you guys go over there, I'm talking to Yahushua, like it's selfish.
𝗏𝗏, he's working his way out of religion here.
What do you think, Christopher, when you read that sentence?
For he was speaking tongues. Yeah, I think, well, if you want to have that thing, like 𝗏𝗏 could go and speak in her language.
Yeah.
Not in Pentecostal tongue language. She can go and speak secret things to Yahushua in her language. No one would understand, but she's just doing it privately. That's what I think it means.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the Pentecostal speaking in tongues language.
No.
La 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 ba 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 la 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 la. Oh.
Yeah.
Please. Just say la 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 la. And try that, then you'll get a run on. La 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 ba ba de kialambonde alebekiti tata la pochi. Then you become wonderful. You can even sing in it.
Yeah.
That's insanity, I know.
So that's a musical hyped up thing. But I'm just looking when he says, if you're speaking in a tongue, you're not speaking to men but to Yahuwah, for no one understands, but in the Spirit he speaks secrets.
Well, the tongue would be a language, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So 𝗏𝗏 has got Italian,
Yeah.
she can go and speak Italian to Yahushua.
Yeah.
If she wants to be private.
But he who is prophesying speaks upbuilding and encouragement and comfort to men. So rather than centering on yourself and your own intimacy, you're giving it out. That's how I'm seeing it.
Well, coming through someone like 𝗏𝗏 might just like to go and have a bit of a gabble in her language to Yahushua.
That's it. Exactly right.
That's what I reckon anyway. Go on.
4. He who is speaking in a tongue builds up himself, but he who is prophesying builds up the assembly.
Yeah.
Now I wish you all spoke with tongues, but rather that you might prophesy. So I just really see tongues as communication.
Well, what would they mean by prophecy there? What would a prophecy be?
That something's going to happen. Or speaking the word of Yahushua. Yahushua's given me this to tell you, and it's going to happen.
Encourage people with
Yay, said the all that stuff.
No.
Just basically giving others love and encouragement.
Yeah, that's a lovely way of looking at it.
Rather than, sometimes they might do something wrong and rather than putting them down, say, oh, there could be a better way to do that. How about you try this? So it's not a negative, it's a positive.
building up.
So instead of ripping them down, you're building them up.
All the prophecies have been written. From Genesis to Revelation.
Yeah.
That's it, we've been given them all. They're all written.
Yeah.
What would you call a prophecy today?
Someone who just reads it and says it?
Scripture.
Well, why would you read it and be saying it to people?
Well, today you wouldn't. No, it's just the word.
So what about what I did?
Well, that's prophecy, because you said that's going to, Yahushua said to you, this is going to happen today. Tell Victoria, tell Mark, and you did, because you could have just gone, whatever.
Yeah.
But you
If I don't follow through,
Yeah.
you don't get it.
Yeah.
And that builds up our trust and belief in Yahushua.
Well, that's the point.
And that's the whole idea.
Yeah. You don't have to believe me, put him
No.
over there, he's always
No,
getting that.
that's right.
But Yahushua said it.
That's it.
So it all goes to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting, yeah, I like that.
But that's, that's conjecture whether that's a prophecy or not, again. But, you've got to say it before it happens. But then it sticks, doesn't it? And I won't hold you up.
No, you're not. Now I wish you all spoke with tongues, but rather that you might prophesy. For he who is prophesying is greater than he who is speaking with tongues, unless he interprets, so that the assembly might receive upbuilding. But now, brothers, if I come to you speaking with tongues, what shall I profit you, unless I speak to you, either by revelation, or by knowledge, or by prophesying, or by teaching? Nevertheless, lifeless instruments, making a sound, whether flute or harp, if they do not make a distinction in the sound, how shall it be known what is played on the flute or on the harp? For indeed, if the trumpet makes an indistinct sound, who shall prepare himself for battle? So also you, if you do not give speech by the tongue that is clear, how shall it be known what is spoken? For you shall be speaking into the air. There are undoubtedly so many kinds of sounds in the world, and none of them is without comprehensible sound. If then I do not know the power of the voice, I shall be a foreigner to him who speaks, and he who speaks be a foreigner to me. I think this is all starting to speak about behaviour.
Yeah.
Lifeless sounds and noises and jibber jabbering, everything. It's just like what I see happening in religion. But the behaviour's not there, so you're not knowing the source of the sound. You're not knowing what to do about what's being said because the message isn't clear. The spirit's not clear because of the confusion, and the behaviour is not in it. So also you, since you are ardent for spiritual gifts, seek to excel in the upbuilding of the assembly. Therefore he who is speaking in a tongue, let him pray that he might interpret. For I am praying in a if I am praying in a tongue, my spirit is praying, but my understanding is without fruit. The fruit is behaviour. So if I am praying in a tongue, my spirit is praying, but my understanding is without fruit. What is it then? I shall pray with the spirit, and I shall pray with the understanding. I shall sing with the spirit, and I shall also sing with the understanding. Otherwise, if you bless with the spirit, how shall he who fills up the place of the unlearned say, Amen, that you are giving of thanks, since he does not know what you're saying? Amen is a term of affirmation and agreement. For you truly give thanks well, but the other is not built up. He's basically ripping him a bit for being self-involved. I thank my Yahuwah I speak with tongues more than you all. But in an assembly, I wish to speak 5 words with my understanding, that I might also instruct others also, that 10,000 words in a tongue. Brothers, do not be children in your thinking, but in evil be as babes, and in your thinking be perfect. In the Torah it has been written, with men of other tongues and other lips I shall speak to this people. In the Torah it was written, with men of other tongues and other lips I shall speak to this people. And even so, that's like the babbling of English today. It's like a prophecy there. With the men of other tongues and other lips I shall speak to this people, and even so they shall not hear me, says Yahuwah. So then tongues are for a sign, not to those who believe, but to unbelievers. And prophesying is not for unbelievers, but for those who believe. If then all the assembly comes together in one place, and all speak with tongues, and there comes in those who are unlearned or unbelievers, shall they not say that you are maniacs? But if all prophesy and an unbeliever or an unlearned one comes in, he is reproved by all, he is discerned by all. And so the secrets of his heart are revealed. And so falling down on his face he shall worship Yahuwah, declaring that Yahuwah is truly among you. What then is it, brothers? Whenever you come together, each one has a psalm, a teaching, a tongue, has a revelation, has an interpretation. Let all be done for upbuilding. So I see all this as the gifts, just like a lot of things in the ancient scriptures, are associated with what's happening in history. All those languages and jabbering and assemblies and everything were to build and to get the message out into the world at a certain point in history. But in the bold here it says, let all be done for the upbuilding. That's the behaviour. I think that's what we carry into the future and go, what's happening, hey? What?
He's coming out of religion here.
It's all about behaviour.
Isn't it
Yeah.
boring?
Well, they're all written here.
Boring.
It's all written here. I didn't write it.
I know, but I'm just saying it's so religious.
Yeah.
From the mindsets that we've been through, you just think,
Yeah.
oh, I feel sick
Yeah.
because of the churches we've been in where they've been doing all this.
Yeah.
Oh, I just feel sick. I want you to hurry up.
I can hurry. If anyone speaks in the tongue, let there be 2 or 3 or most, each in turn one interpret. No interpreter, let him be silent. Yeah. Let 2 or 3 prophesy, speak. It's all about, let your women be silent.
Oh.
They
Girls, don't listen to
They
this.
are not allowed to speak.
He's religious.
Me.
Don't listen to this, girls.
Me? I'm not writing it.
You can just,
Get stuffed. Yeah.
exactly,
Oh.
you said it.
They went on from this, didn't
It
they?
all be done decently and in order. There you go, order. But, well, that's why I
Oh,
wanted to.
that was good. You jumped a big bit there.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring this in, because this is what people go through and they go, what's that all mean today?
Can we close it?
Yeah, you can close it now. So yeah.
Well, the last video we did, we looked at the truth and we had a difference,
Yeah.
right? Didn't we?
Yeah.
So what the man is saying about the age of things and what Scripture says about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you want to tell us in that? But you know, what do you want to say to us why you brought that to us?
Because I think the gifts are not what they are written here. I think the gifts are, if you look at it in 21st century context, I think the gifts are behaviours. You know, it's obvious when someone is moving. Well, look, I wrote that down from the last video. If you look up the word gift, it's a divine influence upon the heart and its reflection in the life. That's being filled with the Spirit and the behaviour that comes from it. That's a gift, and everybody can have that. So there's not all this hierarchy of which gift is better than the other.
That goes with it.
I
Yeah.
don't have a gift. What's my gift going to be? I can't make videos, or I can't
I'm not mature.
sing, and I can't play guitar. I can't do all these things. What's my gift going to be? I don't get prophecy. Well, you do. You can. All of us can hear His voice and do something about it. So, I'm just trying to take a
Are you
scripture.
serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to take an ancient scripture and say, religion's telling us we have to do one thing, and I don't think it's relevant at all, because we don't, to start with, have an assembly, and all the Corinthians is about your assembly
I
is
mean,
in
would
chaos.
you want assembly?
No.
Would you want an assembly?
No.
Everyone driving up to be there on a certain time, and all the people have to be there to help the helpers, and everything's free-loaded and using. Then you've got to give money, and the band has to be supported, and oh, we're part of this, and we get a buzz from the music and our stupid carry-on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sick and tired of all that Pentecostal crap.
Same.
Carpetbaggers.
Yeah.
I just feel sick hearing that, knowing what religion's done.
Yeah.
It's good information to know, but as Ray said to me, it's all about love.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the issue. You got to be able to get yourself to love. Anyway, what did you want to bring this to us for?
Because it's number 11 on our chart, and if people are looking to mature and they go, oh, what's my gift going to be? And some people go out and go, I'm a prophet, and this, I'm a... No. You don't declare things like that. It's just personal. You hear His voice and things come forward. Like sometimes He uses gifts you've had your whole life but were dead, and He brings them alive. Sometimes, like, if it's to do with His voice, like what happened to you the other day. He says, say this, and you've got a choice whether to be obedient or not. But I think He wants to bring us all to that place. And when you're in a room, like all 4 of us have different gifts and different abilities, but we come together And the only thing that ties us together is the love that we have for one another. I think that's, I just don't want young people to be upset and going, oh, I don't know, I'm useless. You know, I'm nothing in the body. I can't do what they do. And the thing is too, you see people do videos and stuff and you think they've all got it together. We've all got it together. No, we don't. We're going through it. We try to make it honest to see we're just normal people, slonging it out week after week, maturing, you know, like.
I mean, the way the church presents it to young people, and they're going through, they've got enough to go through to become mature, then to be open to the gifts. And when it happens and they act on it, oh, that was amazing. You know? It's sort of, and there's only 4 of us together. So we can see that happening within each other. It's a small assembly, this. So we're taking it globally. So other people can just be with too and understand Yahusha's operation through each one when they come to a maturity where they can see it and understand it. But they've got enough time going through the flogging and everything before they can enter into this realm. And it's presented far too early, you know? And what's the good of presenting what we feel to a church?
I'm nothing. No, this is for the...
They wouldn't have it because they're so asleep and locked in. Anyway, what was the point you wanted to make to us? I didn't get it.
The point is just that it's all about loving behaviour, because all those gifts that he mentioned will cease. But love, seek the greatest gift, which is love. So it's not only a fruit we all have to come into, it's the greatest gift to have. And I even look at, I think it was months ago, you said, oh, why don't you pull your guitar out and encourage everybody and this, that. Oh no, I'm done with music. No, I'm doing important things now, and all this crap I went on with, you know, like, and you should touched me a week or so ago, and you know, the fingers are sore now trying to get back. You lose it. He says, don't lose your gift. Don't keep kindling the gift he gives you. And I just thought it was nothing and got rid of it. We wanted to get this message out, and a guy comes in about a website, and that's his gift. He's brilliant at it, and they're like, I just think Yahusha's doing it all. And I think we not only should not be coveting or jealous of each other and their gifts and what we do, love should be, what's my point, no? Love. It's taken 40 minutes to say love.
Well, you want to ask him the question? Does he feel like he's overcome his religious hang-up?
Did you hear that question?
I felt like
Tell the people.
Do you feel like you've overcome your religious hang-up?
Yes, I have now. I've seen it in the context of the...
Oh, doesn't it make you sick?
It does.
I mean, you were a worship leader, that's probably why you're into this.
Well, I knew I didn't believe in tongues and all that these days, but I wanted to know what's written there. How do we bring this into... Because one day I'm going to get to it and have to reword it, so...
Well, if you don't...
No, not up to Corinthians.
Have you reworded it now?
Yeah, it's all about love.
I mean, when you're in the love, who cares about that? I mean, who's really interested?
Exactly.
That's not in the behaviour.
No.
You know, it's not real. It's everyone's doing it in a room. Oh, and someone comes through with a prophecy. An interpretation. Oh, please.
Let's eat. That's what they're there
Didn't
for.
they tell you to fall on the ground?
Bark like a dog.
People fall on the ground, don't get hurt, they said. I used to get hurt. And then I saw Jason running around his hands and knees barking and the women screaming. Oh, please, we went off the planet.
Did we?
Oh, wasn't it sick?
I dropped my good guitar on the floor one day, I think.
No. Like one of those pop stars.
You wonder why I just changed, threw it all away. Oh, please, I don't want. The whole mentality's like that. It's just bondage, that machine Satan's got grinding everyone up into stupidity. You know? Which machine are you going with, Mark?
Not this one. Yeah.
So then you can close it off there.
Yeah.
You got something more you want
No,
to
that
tell
was
us
it.
about?
That
You
was it.
sure?
Positive.
Very interesting, Mark.
Sorry for taking you through my swill, everybody. Had to make up my mind about a few things.
Well, you did you?
I did. I've made up my mind about it.
You free?
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody. It was
Thank
lovely
you.
to see you.
Bye.
You're such a bitch.
Oh, you did well.